Okay. Hello, everybody. Like I said, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are in the world. My name is Miriam, and I am very honored, very privileged to be your facilitator today. Now, typically, we're supposed to have a host and a facilitator, somebody to introduce, but we just thought to skip all that and get to the nitty gritty of why we are here. Typically, it's supposed to be a conference call for about an hour, but I want to try and see if we can maybe hit the mark around 45 or 15 minutes. So let's just get started. Hello, everyone. Please comment in the chat box your name and where you are streaming from. My name is Miriam, like I said, and I'm joining this meeting from Lagos, Nigeria. So please just drop in the chat box where you're streaming from. Okay, hi Ashley from Nairobi, Kenya. Hello, Grace from Nigeria. Diana from Kisumu, Kenya. Oh, that's lovely. Emmanuel from Tanzania. Yay! I think it's the first Tanzanian we are having. I'm not quite sure. Well, hi, Emmanuel. You are MVP today. You are favorite person today. Bafo Ken from South Africa. I hope I pronounced that just fine. Please correct me if I did not. Beth from Nairobi. Please let's keep it coming. Fahad Amor from Zanzibar, Tanzania. Yay, I'm so glad we have Tanzanians joining us today. Typically, we used to have Kenyans, Nigerians, Ghanaians, South Africans, Liberians, Rwandans, but Cameroonians have joined us recently as well. And I think there are a few people from Burkina Faso and Zimbabwe. So I'm really excited that this is as international as it gets. Thank you for being here today. I do not take it for granted. The entire team, we do not take it for granted as well. Thank you for being here, for spending your Saturday morning or afternoon or evening with us, depending on where you are in the world. Again, due to time zone differences. Today is a very important meeting. It's a very important conversation. Here at the African Women AI Hub, we have created a space where women, sisters, colleagues, friends could learn from each other, grow with each other, become better, upskill, get access to funding opportunities, basically just growing with a sisterhood. And it is really exciting that we are able to do this together today. This is to be a workshop of sorts. We're supposed to do things that are very much practical. So we started this in April. This hub is an initiative under the Artificial Intelligence and Blockchain Initiative for Africa. It is a non-profit for profit that started as a pain point, as a burden. We wanted to create a space where we're able to build the gap between innovation, through innovation in Africa. We wanted to create a space where we empower people to leverage on tools such as AI and blockchain to address our systemic challenges, right? And we decided to go a bit more niche by creating communities such as this that are, focused on a collective goal, on a specific collective goal. So we have the African Women AI Hub that is hosting us today. Yay. Applause, applause, applause. We have the AI in education that is launching. We have the AI in healthcare that's launching soon as well. And then we also have, for now, we have AI in real estate hub. So if this sounds like something you'd be interested in, if you have interests in these areas, please join our communities. The links to our platforms will be posted in the chat box and shared, of course, during the meeting, so that you're able, in case you are new to our community, you're able to join any of the platforms that work for you: Discord, Telegram, WhatsApp, and social media as well, like Instagram and Facebook and LinkedIn and X. So yeah, just keep the conversation going. We want to create a space where Africa is able to solve Africa's problems, and it takes us, it takes you, it takes a collective effort towards this goal. So thank you again for being here. We do not take it for granted. We know it's not easy to take out any part of your day, especially on the weekend, to learn, but you are in the right place, right? And this is not going to be something that uh, doesn't translate to success at the end, right? So let's be patient. Let's If you have questions, please drop it to the chat box. If you have contributions as well, insights to share, experiences to share, like I said, this is an open, safe community, and we are just interested in building together. So we are more than willing to do all of that. But like I said, thank you so much for being here. I'm your host again. Like I said, my name is Beria. I am the program manager of the Artificial Intelligence and Blockchain Initiative for Africa, and that is the organization that has created this hub. And today we are doing a proposal writing workshop. Our goal is this: we know that we have ideas. We know that us in this community, us across the continent, one thing that Africa has is ideas, right? We just have ideas. But then the thing that we often struggle to get is funding for those ideas. So we're able to think. I remember sharing, there's this experience I have that I shared at a similar meeting. So I'll share with you right now. Yes, please. This meeting is being recorded so that the replay will be available to members of our community who are unable to live stream this event. And then for you as well, who would like to go back to the important parts of what we discussed today, you'll be able to find the replay available on YouTube. So for that, we ask that you mute your mics, raise your hand if you have something to share via audio, but otherwise, please just leave it in the chat box so that there are no interruptions. And let's also take our turn speaking. If there are multiple people raising their hands, we'll do it one by one to avoid any bit of rowdiness, stuff like that. But yeah, now back to the gist. So I was about, I think, 11 or 12, right? So I had a brilliant business idea. I really did. It was to be a hub of sorts, but a coffee shop. And those who know me personally know I love coffee so much. I like to brew it. I like to do things with it. I like to have it. And I like to share it with other people. And because of my love for coffee, I wanted to create a space where people could come and just sit with their thoughts with coffee. There was going to be a part of this cafe that serves coffee and, simple food. So you could just eat, have a cup of coffee or a punch or a juice, or, freshly squeezed, stuff like that. Something as simple as that. And then because I liked books so much, I wanted to create a library of sorts. And this was not just meant to be a library that you are going to sit with laptops and just, do research and stuff. Sure, you are able to do that. But in the library space, there are going to be couches and futons of sorts where you could nap in between your reading, or not even read at all, I just come to nap. I just wanted to create a space where remote workers, it wasn't so popular at the time, and basically corporate workers, 9 to 5ers, are able to just come out of their work zone, and they're able to just have coffee and sit with their thoughts, enjoy music on their headphones alone, on a bed, quickly get a nap, quickly have some food. And it was, and these are just the bits that I remember because it was well over a decade ago, right? That this happened well over a decade ago. And I remember sharing with some people, and people who were older than me at the time. I remember sharing with my mentors, my lesson teachers, my math lesson teacher. And he was like, oh my goodness, this is such a brilliant idea. This is such a, gosh, he shared so much basically. And, but then, one thing I remember that my math teacher had asked me was, okay, but where are you going to get the money for all of this? It's nice, but where are you going to get the money for this? There's no money without money. So where are we going to? Oh, Grace is a coffee lover as well. Hi, Grace. Please, you can send me a DM on WhatsApp and we can talk about coffee some more. I need people like me more in my life. Others don't get me like that. So I remember sharing this, and they said, "Oh, there's no money because where are we going to? Which space are we going to use? How much are we going to pay for land? Um, are we using a tent? Are we renting a shop? Okay, and then you're also 11. You're also 11. Who is going to handle the finances? Who is going to? At the time, I had very basic courses to deal with, social studies and intro tech and biology, easy stuff. And people don't have money to finance these things. And I was just thinking, oh, this would have been great if I had money, right? And the thing about having money at the right time is that it helps you tap into industries at the right time as well. So at the time, coffee was not a popular thing at all in Lagos. In fact, people didn't talk about coffee in any way. Neither were hubs a popular thing, neither was remote work a popular thing. Neither spaces, this kind of space I wanted to create was not something that was common at all. And I was just thinking years after that if I had the money then to do what I wanted to do, even as young as I was, I would have been a pioneer in the industry, right? I would have been one of the oldest running cafes in Lagos, Nigeria. And now coffee is way more popular, cafes are way more popular, hubs are way more popular. And although I've still not seen places that capture my vision entirely, so I'm still going to do it and obviously do it from a more informed perspective. But I'm just sharing this to buttress the fact that it is very important to get access to funding for your ideas, because it is one thing to think, it is another thing to have the money to pursue what you've thought of, to bring it into fruition, to execute as much as you have ideated, and stuff like that. And it is a burden for us because many times across conversations with people, you would know, especially if you are surrounded by people who think like you, who are way more exposed than their primary society exposed them to, people who took courses early on, people who like to think outside the box. They don't have the finances to like bring all of that into light. And so we wanted to help ourselves find a way to get funding for all of the ideas that we have, small, medium, large, whatever scale. We wanted to create a space where people can come and learn and then, see that, okay, for this idea for orphans and for this ideas for widows and for this ideas for teenage children that want to learn software engineering, these are the people I can go to for funding. But then it's one thing to know who to go to for funding, right? And it's another thing to be able to position yourself for success in that funding round. I don't know if you understand. So I've been talking for like 15 minutes now. So can you please like react in some way if you understand so far? All that I'm saying. Oh, okay, brilliant, then lovely. So that's basically what this is about. There are funding opportunities way more than you can think, right? And DeepFunding, who is currently sponsoring this hub for 6 months, is one of such funding opportunities. And so we want to create so what we are going to do today is we are going to learn how to position ourselves for success with funding rounds, so that when you have that idea, you are able to put that idea into print, right? Into text, into something that is coherent and powerful. and you're able to submit your proposals. And so no matter who is reading, they're able to see. So it's just we want to position you for success with funding for your ideas, whatever those projects are, whatever those ideas are. So we're just going to be learning today primarily how to write proposals, how to take that weird, nerdy, lovely, brilliant idea from your head and you're taking it into print. Right? You're putting words to it. You are balancing sentiment with technicalities, that's basically what it's about. So I'm going to be sharing my screen. We have a little slide that we've prepared just to walk us through what a proposal writing process is for. So if you've never written a proposal, you should pay so much attention, right? And if you've written proposals already before, you can learn a thing or two about how to refine them or how to better apply for them. And what we are doing is we are sharing as well from our experience, because we've written successful proposals and we've gained funding for those proposals. So we want to share from our experience as well what helped us secure funding, what can help you secure funding across any kind of proposal rounds that you get exposed to within and outside of the community. Okay, so let me share my screen now. Okay, Grace, can you assist in? Okay, never mind. I think it's okay now. Please, anytime that the network goes off, because network is absolutely crazy. But please, anytime the network goes off, either you're unable to see my screen, or you're unable to hear me, or you don't have to see me. My voice on the screen is the important part. But anytime this happens, right, please just find a way to notify me so that I'm able to fix the problem. All right, so let's just get into it. Oh, my glasses. Okay, so crafting a winning proposal. This is a practical guide for African women in AI, and we understand that today we have men with us. Not to worry, this workshop is not gender specific in any way. Thank you also for being here. This knowledge, like I said, is not gender specific, so please leverage on that as much as you can. Now, why do proposals matter? Okay, please give me a second. I don't think that the slideshow is going to. Okay, I think this is better. So that I'm able to navigate properly. So is my screen still clear? Okay. Okay. All right. Great. Okay. So why do proposals matter? Proposals are your story, your strategy, and your solution all in one. Proposals are your way of bringing what you know, your experience, and what you'd like to solve. Somebody, William, could you please mute your mic? Okay, hold on, I can do that for you. I think. All right. Thank you so much. My apologies. Okay, so like as I was saying, the proposals are your story, your strategy, and solution in one. They are your way of taking your experiences, your dreams, your vision, your desire, your how to get there, your what you need to get there, your why you need to get there, your the impact you seek to have, all of it is one. They open doors to funding, to partnerships, and to visibility. Every powerful innovation started with a well-told idea. So I don't know if let me just quickly ask this. I don't know if you've met people who are brilliant but cannot communicate their brilliance. If you have, please react in some way. Okay. Okay. All right. Okay. Okay then. So you see that communication is a crucial skill. In my experience, I've met people who are absolutely brilliant. Their ideas are absolutely powerful, life changing, even multi-billion dollar ideas as well. But they're unable to communicate that brilliance. They're unable to take what is in here and put it in such a way that everybody gets sold to the idea. Everybody gets sold to the idea. If we, for instance, I'm Christian, right? And so I believe in the Christian God and I believe in the Bible. And one thing that there's there is an interesting scripture. One thing, anyways, that we learned from Jesus is how brilliant he was at communicating. How you'd present him with a problem, with a question, with a challenge, a dilemma, and he's able to take what he knows from a supreme deity point of view, and he was able to translate what he sees as God to something very simple, either with parables or explanations. He was able to say what was needed, just how it was needed. And an interesting scripture in the Christian Bible, I can't remember the exact scripture, I think it's somewhere in the book of Joel, I think. God instructing the prophets at the time said, write the vision and make it plain upon the table so that you may run with it. And that's such an interesting statement, right? Writing your vision, making it plain, making it something that anybody can read, hear, and understand, even if they're not convinced enough to do it. They understand in some way this is what you're trying to achieve, right? And that is such a crucial skill in today's world, especially because there are so many people yapping, right? There are so many people talking, so many people sharing. The way to really share your brilliance is to really share your brilliance. I don't know if you get me, like to actually communicate it. And so we need to be able to learn how to bring every rambling of our minds and make it as concise, as in-depth, as explanatory as possible. And so basically proposals are a way for doing that with projects, whether they're across blockchain or AI, or engineering, or every kind of tech, or even healthcare, whatever field you are in. Proposals are just basically a way of doing that. Now, because remember I had said that they are your story, your strategy, and your solution all in one. And what is then needed next is to identify your story. What challenge are you passionate about? And these are like checklists that you ought to cross off. What is that thing that is a problem that you're passionate about? How does it affect you? How does it affect your community? How does it affect people beyond the borders that you see? And then, what is your unique angle or your lived experience? Now, I'll tell you what. When we had conceived the idea for African Women in AI, there's the one when we were having the ideation round of sorts, ideation meetings, trying to pull it together sometime in January. I remember that I was in a restaurant. I went to buy amala, And for those of us who are not Nigerian, so amala is a Western dish by the Yoruba people in Nigeria. And it's often eaten with a soup called ewedu and gbegiri, and it's mixed with some sort of palm oil stew and a whole lot of meat, actually, different kinds of meat and fish. So it was sometime in January, and I went with my sister at the time to an amala joint to buy. And so co-founders, they call me up, where I'm so we're thinking and we're thinking and we're thinking, and what can we do and how can we do this? What initiative can we take on? How can we get niche? All of these things. And I remember that I was ordering my amala. I was saying, okay, please, I want one goat meat and I want one fish, I want one bobo. I really ate a lot of food that day. I remember in this weird, it's a very local-ish restaurant, so it's the point of most amala joints in Lagos is not exactly to present some sort of aesthetics. They really do the barest minimum with their design of spaces. So there was a giant ox fan, I think by the left. No, left and right actually. It was a weird old green table with this, and then I was like trying to tell the servers, okay, I want this and I want that, and I want it to go. And then my sister was making her order as well. I remember just searching my tote bag for a pen and paper. I'm like, "Hey, it's coming, the idea is coming. The idea is coming, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming." And then I was like, okay, okay. And then I was just in the entire meeting, we had very interesting meeting, AirPods in, trying to scramble on a restaurant table, old table, while ordering amala. And I was just writing here and scattering here. And I was like, okay, this is what women are suffering. I agree. This is what women like. I agree. This is what women in 2025 we need to do. This is how we need to do this. And so the ideas were just scattered all over. And I remember in one part of, I think it was a sticky note I had written it, was, okay, what are women most passionate about? And I wrote the word legacy. And it was interesting at the time because still is anyways, because I'm sharing it now. But I remember at the time it was a theme for it was a strong theme for me for the year. Legacy. Women all over the world are very concerned, passionate, and women all over the world are working towards, many women at the very least, are working towards creating some sort of legacy. And we see it in how we raise kids, for instance, for those who choose to raise kids. We are willing to sacrifice, we are willing to skip steps in career, we are willing to not even pursue career at all, we are or willing to juggle multiple jobs just so that these children we are committed to raising have it better. They have something to inherit, they have something to fall back on, they have a much, much lenient space to be able to do all the things you're unable to do, to dream much loudly, for instance. Women, you'd see, they're the ones that are focused in business building and careers. We're always having this making a name, leaving some sort of legacy, knowing that we did more than enough, we established authority, we fought against patriarchal systems or opposing systems, and it's especially so for women in marginalized communities, right? We have this, we must make it, we must succeed, and not just succeed so that I can buy Birkin bags, or so that children after me can, so that family can, so that my siblings have more room to experience life more than I did. Women generally, in my experience, I have found are very future focused. Let's not do this now. Let's not satisfy this now. Let's not gratify now. Let's do this later. Let's do this so that this is able to do. Stuff like that, thinking beyond themselves. And I wrote legacy down. And so when I was drafting a proposal for African women in AI, I had written my storytelling center point is legacy. Women want things that would live beyond them. whether it is in motherhood or career or in business building, and even in a combination of all of those things, because you really don't have to sacrifice one for the other. You cannot have it all, but you can have some of it, right? That's just a sidebar. And so when one of the co-founders had asked me, "Oh, what do I mean by legacy?" And then I explained that, I was like, actually, that is it. And so I was like, oh, let's create a hub. The African Women in AI hub is going to be legacy focused. That I am able to break barriers so that younger colleagues are able to um, have a smoother experience. I am able to make money. I am able to impact communities. I'm able to shatter systems and structures and set up new ones, because life is more than me. It is beyond my own visions. It is beyond my own existence. It is beyond my own self. And so the African Women AI Hub is to be a hub where we are active contributors to every other person's success. And as a whole, we are contributors to lives, to communities that we may never even directly interact with, right? And so, back to it, identify your story. What is that thing that you're challenging? What challenge are you passionate about? How does it affect you? How does it affect community? How does it affect other people? The African Women in AI Hub is a novel hub because there is barely any space for African women in AI. AI is not something that's widely adopted yet, right? It is not. It's not a women saturated field as well. There's so much to do with so little time to do it. We have to get to work, and how are we going to get to work? How does this affect me? How does this affect communities? I mean, just look at this call, right? I've never been beyond the shores of Nigeria. Wildly traveled in Nigeria, but never been beyond the shores of Nigeria. And now there are Tanzanians and Kenyans and Rwandans, and I don't know what people from Burkina Faso are called. Please, what are they called? I'm so sorry. But they're South Africans. There are at least, I think last I checked, over 10 countries represented in our community. And it started with a meeting in an Amala joint over the theme legacy. I hope you are following. Right. I hope you're following. Please let me know if you're following. All right. Okay. I think I'm seeing really new names, so that's brilliant. That's good. I hope that this meeting is at least something to remember for a while. Okay, now you've identified your story. Then we go into a very interesting phase called pain, affordance, pain, and desire mapping. Anyways, so remember I said I was at this Amala joint with a bunch of papers scattered all over the table, literally scattered all over the table, and then I had to sit and think, okay, where am I at? Where are we at as an organization? What can we afford to do? Now, for this hub, what is broken? What is unfair? To the demographic we are trying to reach. We are trying to reach African women in AI. What is broken about that system? What is unfair to women in that field? What is missing? What do we need to add? What do we need to create? What do we need to supplement? And then it can also be, you can then that link all of that, and you see that I've put a little mapping element thing on this slide. Yeah. And then the desire, what outcome do you want people? What outcome do people want instead? Right. So this is where African women in AI scattered all over the continent are at. This is where we need them to get. This is where we desire that they get. Now, coming down to these people here, we are thinking, what do these people want to get instead? Where do they want to go? Right? How can we help them get to the levels that they want to get to? What is also missing about their journeys? What can we help? So, and this is not exactly for your AI idea. This is your idea generally, because I had made this specific to, artificial intelligence, but your idea generally should solve a pain, it should fulfill a desire, or both. Now, in my time as a technical writer and a script writer, Yes, I'm a woman of many things. But my time as a technical writer and script writer, there's something that I've learned from experience. The best YouTube script videos, especially the ones that often go viral, start with this in mind. We it starts with a typical viral YouTube script, at least the one that's potential to go viral. A good YouTube script often starts with a pain point or a desire point. So it's something around the lines of, are you struggling to pay school fees? Is tuition a problem in your household? You've identified with people who are, struggling with that. Basically, a pain point or desire, like, do you want to drive a Mercedes by 24? Do you also want to own 3 houses by 24 without doing witchcrafts? You've now done desire, right? So a YouTube script that is a reading YouTube script often starts with a desire point or starts with a pain point. And it's the same with every good proposal. I don't want to say every literary work, literary work. I don't want to say that because literature and fiction is way more different. So you start with a story point that is either the middle of somebody's life or the end or the beginning. And so yeah, it's much different. But with scripts, with proposals especially, you want to communicate pain, or you want to communicate desire, or you want to do both. So you need to identify these things. What is the pain? What is the desire? And is there some way that pain and desire even exist at the same time? If it does, then you have to find a way to communicate both of them. And so moving on, we have what the funders want. They want to see relevance. Does your idea is great? Yes, it is. But does it address a real need? Now, let me tell you something that people often don't remember or they don't want to admit. It is that people don't waste money, especially businessmen. Do you know any businessman right now who likes to waste money? Please, if you do, please react. Okay, so are we all agreeing that every businessman likes to get a profit from every bit of money that they are spending in? Do we agree? Okay. Yeah, so great, we agree, right? Everybody in business likes to put their money, their time, their efforts into things that will translate to results, to profits. And we will see it even in relationships. How many of us want to be with people who would be waste of resources? They are a waste of your time, they are a waste of your energy, they are a waste of your wisdom, they are a waste of your connections, and they are a waste of your money. Who wants to be with people like that? I'm sure nobody. But if we ask, and okay, let me ask, how many of us want to be with or are with people who we do not consider a waste of resources? Yeah, all of us want to be with people or are with people that we do not consider a waste of resources. And so funders, even if they have millions of dollars in their account, they do not like and they will not give to projects or things that will just have wasted their money. Even if they don't need a translation of profits, businessmen, funders, especially in the tech world, like to give to things that are worth every cent, every kobo, every cedi. It's not cedis, pesos, yes, pesos, every penny, right? So to make sure that you're positioning yourself for success, your idea has to show that it addresses a real need. And then, clarity. Is the solution well explained? So you've identified something that is wrong and you know how to fix it. And the idea of how to fix it is absolutely brilliant. But have you explained it well? Fund that a typical proposal that would win you hundreds of thousands of dollars is one that is as clear as possible. Nobody is doing like this in the writing or in the explanation. We know where we are at, we know where we want to go, and this is how we are going to do it to the letter. Every I is dotted, every T is crossed. It is not a proposal that would win you money. It's not a proposal that has jargon in it, that tries to sound smart. No, it doesn't. It is one that has communicated brilliance in the clearest ways possible. In the clearest ways possible. And then next, funders want to see the team behind it. Because no man is an island, right? You are going to need people. Oftentimes, a lot of people. More than one person, more than two people, more than 10, depending on the scale of what you want to undertake. Now, these people, can you work with them? Can this dream that you have be achieved with these people? Right? Can it? Now, interesting thing again, you learn from the Christian Bible is the story of Jesus and his disciples, how Jesus had chosen the first 12. Very interesting set of people. These 12 men were very crucial to what we know, to the entire Christian faith. And it was important that he chose the people he chose. Because you would find, right, and this is a bit of theology, Jesus, a man that had things to achieve before his death and after his death. A man coming from a place that was not nobility or wealth, right? It's also known for their wealth, neither is it known for their nobility. Nazareth was not a pretty place. And he was coming from here, and he's coming with a message that transcends every other kind of message that has ever been on the earth. And he knows he cannot do it alone. He knows he's going to need people. And so it was important that he chose out of these people fishermen, people who were familiar with the locals, who understood the concept of waiting and toiling and harvesting. And that's why he referred to them as fishers of men, which is also interesting because other parts of scripture leads to that point. And then you see that he also chose a tax collector who history says was autistic. And so everybody that he chose, there were fishermen, the tax collectors, the what are the rest of the people? Very interesting odd jobs, but these are people who were relevant to how community received him and to how his message was passed across. Choosing your team is one of the most important things you can ever do in life, because your team can guarantee the success of your project or the failure of your project. It can guarantee just how much you are able to achieve. Because it is one thing to have a vision, it is another thing to have vision bearers, people who are able to carry that vision with you, right? And using the story of Jesus, it was important he chose people who were not noble as well, because part of Jesus's core message was that everybody can be one with God. Everybody is, through my message, through salvation, is reconciled with God. And for the people at that time, They did not believe that everybody could access God. It was not custom. You had to be of a certain lineage, you have to be of a certain blood type, right? You have to be old money, you have to be this, whatever can help you better understand. There were the subsets and the sets of who those people were. And Jesus was saying, anybody can get access, anybody can pray, anybody can call God Father. And so it was important that he chose people who primarily did not have that background of access. Do we get? So how you scrutinize who your team would be. And it's also important that you are able to bring on and work with people who are better than you. Might not be in everything. For instance, it is not every owner of idea or founder that can be a good CEO. Do you agree? Do you know that? And please react if you understand. It is not, yes, thank you. It is not everybody who has conceived an idea that can be the chief executive officer of that project. Some people are skilled with project management, with getting things done. Some people are skilled with just thinking. They are not the acting people. They are not the ones that will go to the markets or hit the ground or till the soil. But they're the ones to think. They're the ones to draw. They're the ones to create. So it is important that everybody that you are able to hire or bring on or work with are people who are filling the gaps of who you are not. Right? They are people filling the gaps of who you are not. For instance, I'm a great thinker and I'm a great executor, but I'm not exactly good with what's the word? Okay, let's say community management. Sometimes on the group chats on Discord, Telegram, WhatsApp, I'm so blown away by what Grace, our community manager, does. Because I'll just be thinking, I certainly wouldn't have been able to do this. I would to engage you on a daily basis to remember. There are times that, excuse me, she would post spotlights of people, and excuse me, and then I would be thinking, how does she remember this? But this person joined like months ago. How is she remembering that this person said this at this time? So you see that it is important that while there's a thinker and an executor and an overall project manager, there's somebody who is able to communicate with people the way people should be communicated with. And there is, for instance, Loretta is our digital marketing specialist. She does wonders. When she's giving a breakdown of what she did with organic and inorganic ads, I'm just thinking, okay, that's lovely. So fine. My job is basically to say, did you? Yes. All right. So what is the result? Let's just put there. But it's not my thing to be able to market digitally, start running ads and start checking this and start checking site traffic and all the nitty-gritties of what it is to be a digital marketer. I mean, I think that actually I basically, okay, we have to build this. All right, this is where we're at and this is where we need to go. And then I don't have to put it in paper. But I said all of that to say this. Make sure that you're working with people who are able to fill the gaps of all that you are not. Right. And well, it's important to establish hierarchy and stuff like that because those are established. Those should be established rather. You should be a team of order. There should be order. There should be a head, a subhead, stuff like that. It is also important that, especially in the initial stages, you do not treat one more important than the other because every member of a team is a puzzle piece, and the execution of your project depends on the coming together of all of those puzzle pieces. The full picture can only be seen when the entire team is involved. So first of all, think, who do I need to achieve what I want to achieve? What are the skills that I need from these people to achieve what I want to achieve, right? And then look for those people. Do not be so wrapped up in the idea of being a founder and a CEO that you get lost in yourself, because you really cannot do it alone, especially if it's something for long-term impact and a long-term, duration of run, right? You have to get out of your own head and see, these are my own skills and these are my own talents. This is what I'm able to bring. These are the kind of people I need to be able to fill up what I'm able to bring. So choose your team and choose it well. And like I've said, a little impact. How big is the ripple effect? Founders want to see, where do you envision this going? Right? How many countries, how many communities, how many societies, how many demographics? What is the big picture? That if you had $1 million or $10 million even for your project, where is the what is the highest height you can think of that this project will reach? The goal is feasibility also, and value. As brilliant and lovely as your idea is, funders want to see that it is feasible, that based on the people you have, your team, based on the money you are asking for, based on the relevance of this project, based on the impact of this project, can you really reach 10 countries? Is that feasible enough for the kind of people you have? Is that feasible enough for the kind of impact you want to create? The relevance also, this problem you are seeking to address, is it going to be relevant for said 10 countries? So it is nothing personal. Remove as much sentiment and emotions as you can. Empathy is key in your ideation process. You have to think beyond yourself. You as a team also, you have to think beyond yourselves. You have to be as empathetic as possible. If you are trying to reach men, right, who, let's say, work in healthcare or in agriculture, farmers in Nigeria or farmers in Kenya, cocoa farmers and stuff, you need to be empathetic to see who these people are, what their problems are, what their desires are. That is where pain and desire mapping comes into play. And your target audience refining, because obviously a target audience is something that you should have already had in mind who you're trying to reach, right? But then when you begin to pain and desire map, you then see, oh, these are actually what these people need, and these are what they don't need as well. This is what is bothering them. So again, it is about feasibility and it is about value. And so this is the anatomy of a great proposal. There's a title, an executive summary, a problem statement, your solution and your strategy, your milestones and your timeline. Now, just to explain what milestones are you breaking up your big project into bits, right? And you're saying, oh, in 1 year, we are asking for $100,000 for a year of work towards achieving XYZ goal across XYZ countries for this XYZ target audience. And so what we would consider, think of milestones as bus stops, right? So for instance, say I'm commuting from the mainland Lagos to the island Lagos. I know that from my house, if I have gotten to Emeda, for instance, Emeda is a place in Lagos, I would have to come down, right, from the bus, take another bus. So that point of coming down at Emeda before I take another bus that is heading to so place, it is a milestone. So by the time I'm arriving at Emeda, I must have eaten, I must have withdrawn cash to pay for the bus fare. I must have water just in case there's traffic. I'm also anticipating that there is traffic, and so I'm going to buy an extra kind of Pepsi so that I'm well caffeinated for the trip. And because I'm also anticipating that there's traffic, I'm going to carry my laptop fully charged so I'm able to work on the road. So a milestone, like I've put this analogy, is you saying that at also month, at also step in the process, I have achieved this. and this is what I'm hoping to achieve in the next milestones. And at this point, this is what I already have. This is what I don't have. These are the challenges I foresee. So a typical commute between mainland and island, if you say you have an appointment in Lagos, you typically have to factor in traffic, especially depending on the day and the time that you are making this commute. So you say, oh, okay, because I'm anticipating that there's going to be traffic around Omalende, or there's going to be traffic around that Third Mainland Bridge area. And I know that I have to be here by 2 and I have to have so and so ready by this time. I'm going to make sure that I'm doing this. So it's a risk and mitigation thing. So your milestone covers where you are at, where you seek to be, what you have achieved, what you don't have yet, and what you think would be a hindrance. So sorry. And what you think would be a hindrance. So sorry. Please give me a minute. I need to respond to. All right. So sorry about that. I'm to respond to some things. So as I was saying, your milestone is where you're at, where you seek to be, what you've achieved, what you need to achieve, um, the growth you've made, and the problems you're anticipating that would be a hindrance to what you want to achieve in the next step. And then, and how long it's going to take you. So, for instance, if you have 12 months, that is a year, to achieve something, you are breaking it down to, let's say, 3 months per milestone. So that's 4 milestones. And in the 4 milestones, you are saying that, okay, for the entire 1 year, I have 10 countries to reach. So by the first milestone, I have 3 countries. By the next milestone, I have another 3 countries. By the next milestone, I have two. Next milestone, I have two. Obviously, you have to do some research to make sure that it is as feasible as possible. You don't, yes, you don't want to oversell, right? You really don't want to oversell. You really, really don't want to oversell, because founders see these things. They honestly do. They see when you are just saying, in 1 year, I'm going to have 500,000 active members in my community. Is that possible? Not really, actually, if you're being feasible. Or saying, in 1 year, I would have contributed to the raising of 10 millionaires. 10, a millionaire is somebody who has what's the rate scale? Can't remember. I think it's over 100 million. So is that possible? Founders are often smart people, and like I said, no businessman is in business to not make some sort of to not make any form of profit, or to not see that their money is being used well. So if they're dashing you money to go and build resorts for daycare babies, they need to see that, okay, this is not going to be a waste of money, right? So you want to be as feasible as possible. Do not oversell. I would even advise that you practically under promise, so that you are able to over deliver, right? So if you think it is your capacity to be able to raise 10 millionaires in 1 year, or have 500,000 people in 1 year, say you are going to do 200,000 people, or 100,000 people, or 300,000 people, depending on the specifics of the proposal guideline, right? Because for funding rounds, there will be directions on what they need to see. Um, um, they will tell you that they need to see so amount of, like, they would often describe the kind of impact they are looking to have with the proposals, right? So, ooh, okay. And that's basically it. So I need to rush off now because I might have to hold on, please. Let me join this meeting somewhere else. Grace, please could you share screen? Hi Grace. So sorry, my device went off for some reason. I honestly don't know what the problem is. Hmm. All right, so where are we at? Grace, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes. Okay, so I don't want to have to stand up to look for power the port so that I'm not like gone for so long. I'm currently alone, so I don't particularly have help in reconnecting to power supply. I don't know why the laptop went off, but that's on off all the same. So please help me share screen. I think we're almost done. So where am I? I was at Anatomy of a Great Proposal. Oh, I'm so sorry. You can't hear me well. I apologize. But I'm trying to be as audible as possible. I think that it's the meeting is still being recorded anyway. So once my device gets reconnected, the replay will be available for sure. So yeah, moving on. All right. So then we now go into budget and resources. How much is it going to take? Uh, and how much is it going to take us per money, right? And then also, what other resources are you going to need? What tools are you going to need? What tools do you anticipate needing? What platforms? Okay, so you're building a social community. Which platforms on social media do you want to use? Have you identified which platforms are more popular with the demographic you're trying to reach, stuff like that? And how much do you need? What material resources are you going to need part time? What technological tools are you going to need? What software would you need access to? Would you need Figma and Canva to design, or stuff like that? That's basically it. And then team and roles, I've already covered that. And then impact and sustainability, right? Think of what you're trying to achieve. All right, Grace, next slide. So, writing tips, I've already discussed this, but just to go over it again, keep it clear, avoid jargon. Please avoid jargon. Use active language, use we will, use data and storytelling. As much as you should be sentimental, be as technical and statistical as possible. Show numbers. Numbers tell a story of their own. So, show numbers. Show the percentage of people you are trying to reach. Say, oh, 50% of women currently have 3 children and they're unable to gain access to, show numbers. Do not be afraid to show numbers, and make sure that the numbers are not fabricated in any way, right? Please show numbers. And then be bold about your impact. Be as audacious as possible when you are saying your impact. And there's a way to do this without overselling or overcomplicating your words, right? Be bold about your impact. Clarity builds confidence, and simple always wins, right? So, as much as you have to balance audacity and storytelling and data, be clear. When people can easily see your work, read your work, understand your work, they are more willing to give to that work. When they can get it, right? They are more confident in your proposal if they can get it. Okay, so next slide. Grace, next slide. Grace, are you there? Next slide, please.
Are you seeing my screen? I've gone to the
No,
next slide. Building your budget.
no, I can't.
You can't?
You can see it now.
You can see it now. Okay.
Yeah, all right. So building your budget, like I said, be realistic. Don't inflate things. Don't try and present yourself as you want to make some sort of profits. Don't. Grace, please complete your mind.
Okay, sorry.
Okay. So then show what each cost achieves, right? You're asking for $10,000 for social media marketing. Show what you project this $10,000 will achieve. Show how well you think this ads will go. Where how much down to the daily budget, stuff like that. Show the categories as well, the platforms, the events, the stipends you want to pay people, if you're paying people, what operational costs will be, what outreach, okay, you want to do an outreach, how much is banner, how much is flyer design, how much is printing it in hard copy, how much is renting a hall, how much is sound, how much is decorations, how much is feeding, how much is transportation. Like, be as clear with all of those things as possible. Mention all of them as much as you possibly can. Funders want to know, what will you do with the money? Don't sell them a pipe dream. It needs to be as clear as possible. What are you going to do with the money? All right, Grace, please, next slide. So yeah, common pitfalls with typical proposals: being too vague, over promising outcomes, ignoring community needs, and focusing only on tech and not impact. Right? People like to give money as a way of paying forward. So they need to see that it is not just tech, it is not just research, it is not just data adding, it is not just knowledge building. People's lives have to be being changed in some way. People want to see, founders want to see that, they want to see that you're also addressing community needs, they want to see that you're not over promising, right? You're not overselling your impact goals, and you're not being too vague in any way, you're being as clear as possible. All right, Grace, please, next slide. Now, you belong in this space. Don't wait to feel ready. You can start now. You can start building. You don't have to apply right away, but you can start. The best proposals are human, hopeful, and honest. We believe in your voice. So, whatever your idea is, whatever scale of idea that you have, we believe that you'd be able to use this knowledge to create something beautiful, practical, feasible, and impactful out of this. And please don't try to sound other than what you are. Sound as human as you are, sound as hopeful as you are, sound as honest as you are. Don't try to do why you with your proposals. Be clear, be passionate, be brilliant, and you don't have to wait until every box has been checked. um Action begets clarity. Once you start to act, the picture just gets clearer and clearer and clearer and clearer and clearer as you go. All right, next slide. Yeah, so and that's basically the end. Join the community. So we are the African Women in AI. We have the Discord community. You could join that, Telegram community, or the WhatsApp community. And then you know, finally we've created a template for you that can help you write proposals, and it is downloadable, right? And I think that Grace Loretta will be dropping that in the chat box right about now. So you can just leverage on that, please do leverage on that. You this template was created from the winning proposal that we had. So it will typically guide you with every kind of process that you can think of. It really would guide you with every kind of proposal process you can think of. Now remember that the the funding round you'd be applying to would have specific guidelines, specific things they want to see, right? For instance, when we had applied to deep funding for after AI, the funding round was about community hubs. People wanted to see specific demographic community hubs, right? And other hubs that they had given funding as well. There was an Asian specific hub, there was an agriculture specific hub, right? So funding rounds often have specific things that they want to see. So you just have to take that into account. But typically these templates that we'll be sharing with you can help you write whatever kind of proposal that you can, think of, or you get exposed to. Now, in to help us achieve all of the things that we've said, we've created a group chat in the community platform on WhatsApp. So once you join the platform, you're able to join the WhatsApp community, right? And this community, what we'll be doing is we're going to be holding your hands towards proposal writing. So every opportunity that we see, we are going to be sharing it with you there. And then we are going to be helping you write the proposals as well, helping you apply for the proposals for the funding as well. So that's what's going to be um, a proposal-based conversation, a proposal-based group chat within the community. And one of the first things that we'll be applying for is the deep funding route that currently exists. So like I mentioned, deep funding is currently sponsoring our hub for the next 6 months, or well, it's been about 3 months already, but DeepFunding is currently sponsored by our hub, and they want to sponsor your ideas, not sponsor your proposals. DeepFunding is a community-driven grants program that has been created by Singularity Net, and it is designed to accelerate the development of decentralized beneficial artificial general intelligence, meaning AGI. And by providing milestone-based funding, they empower innovators, researchers, and developers to bring their AI projects to life while retaining full ownership of their intellectual property. Now, it's important. This is absolutely wonderful because you're not selling your ideas. Rather, you're just getting money from them to be able to fund your ideas and your projects. So on this group chat, we are going to be sharing funding opportunities, starting with deep funding. There are current hackathons going on, current fund RFPs, funding rounds going on. And in these rounds, we are just going to be showing you how to write a winning proposal, guide your hand through the entire application process, so that when you do apply, you are able to at least, be one of the top contenders for the funding. Now, there are different categories of funding. There are some of about $10,000, some of $100,000, some of more than 100. I mean, last one was about $150,000. So do not, so let that excite you in a way. So like I said, if you're interested in writing winning proposals, if you have questions about how to write it, if you see an opportunity for yourself and you need help in putting it all together, this is going to be the group chat for you. If you also have an idea, but you don't have teams, right, to also present as a part of your idea, this is going to be the group chat for you. So everything that I've discussed today, everything that I've shared today, right, this is going to be the place where we're able to have conversations about it. So we want to see over 50 proposals written in August, because we know that we are almost 200 in the community so far. And so far, in all the conversations that we've had, in all the gist and the banter we've had, we know that there are ideas here. And so we want to take all of those ideas, even if they are already existing projects, like you've gone far, but you need, more money, right? This is all going to be group chats for you. So opportunities. We are sharing. We are showing you how to write your proposals. We are guiding your hand in writing the proposals. We are proofreading your work. We are editing your work. We are also helping you apply. We are, informing DeepFunding who you are. We are doing as much as we can, right, for you there on that group chat. And so I wanted to make a specific place for that because we know that everybody that might be interested in proposal writing and applications for funding. So if that sounds like you, please, join that group chat. But if that is not for you yet, please join the other platforms, Discord, Telegram, WhatsApp. Let's keep the conversation going. The template I hear is going to be shared on the community. So yeah, Morgan, if you join the community, right, you can easily find Grace is the one that is always gisting everybody. But my name on the group chat is May, Mae. And just my DMs are open all the time. Or you could also send us an email, actually. You could send me an email. Okay, you know what? Let me drop my email in the chat box. And Morgan, you can text me for whatever it is you need to talk about. But yeah, like I said, we are very open, we are very with you. So just send us a message on the group chat. Even on the group chat, you can just call our attention and we are ready and willing to hold your hand throughout the entire process. So be a part of it. And yeah, that's basically it. We're 18 minutes over time, but we did it. We did the job. We did it. Well, yeah, thank you, everyone. Do we have any questions? Let me take one or two questions, and then we can call it a day. We have 2 events in August, and then we want to. We have set a target for ourselves that over 50 of you would get funded. So. Over 50 of you will write proposals at the very least, even if you don't get funding yet. Over 50 of us will write proposals in August, so let's prep for that. But yeah, that's basically it for. Oh, you're welcome. Thank you so much for being a part of this. I really am grateful. It is one thing to organize events, it's another thing for people to actually show up for the events, and we are grateful. Everyone in Tanzania, everyone in Mary, I think it's AI for Peace. That is the current hackathon. I'll send all the details for the existing RFPs in DeepFunding. For now, because that's what we are starting with. We are starting with DeepFunding, and then we'll go on to other funding opportunities. Okay, Akili, yes, please, you could.
Hello.
Yes, hi.
It is my opportunity to join this conference, though my network it was not good at all, but I have read some issues. I would like to use this opportunity to thank you for your nice presentation, especially on the issue of proposal writing. But to me, I'm trying to think out of the box. Currently, as the young people generation. Yes. Yeah.
I can't really hear you. Nobody can hear you. Can you please type what you want to share? All right, then. Thank you. So like I said, the current funding we're going to be applying for is DeepFunding. The RFPs and the hackathons are DeepFunding. But then we'll be sharing links to different grants as well. There's a grant template that would be sharing too for current open grants, right? So we are just going to be doing it together. We'll go through each of these grants. Go through each of these grants. If there's anyone that catches your eye, you can just share on the community, oh, you'd like to apply for XYZ grants, and then we help with your proposal writing. But like I said, we are starting with DeepFunding and we are, progressing from there. There are so many grants, honestly, so many grants. And we've compiled some of them in the templates. So let's leverage the templates as much as we can. But yeah, so for everybody who is for everybody here, because I know we have a mixed audience today, yay. But for everyone here, there is another conference next week on Wednesday by 12 p.m. West African time. That's GMT plus one. By 12 p.m. It's a workshop as well that has been created by the African Artificial Intelligence and Blockchain Initiative for Africa, which is the parent company of this hub. So, like I said, the Women's Hub is an initiative that has been created by AIBIA. And so on Wednesday, we're having a workshop for basically people that are beginners and intermediate learners in AI and blockchain. So we have about 3 experts, one from Rwanda and 2 from Nigeria, that's going to be teaching on artificial intelligence, getting started.
Okay, sorry about that. Can anybody hear me? Please thumbs up if you can hear me. Okay, so thank you very much. I guess something is wrong with Miriam's network, but either ways, we've come to the end of today's proposal writing. A link has been shared to the different grants you can apply for, and if you need help in applying, please, you can reach us. My email is there, and also our WhatsApp group chat has been shared. Just click on the link and join. And as well, DeepFunding, that they are the ones that funded us and would like everyone to apply for it, especially Mr. Peter. You have a wonderful idea there. I really love that. Please do reach out to us, join our WhatsApp community, and let's take this further. So thank you very much for coming. I really appreciate you all. And we've come to the end of today's proposal. Thank you very much. I love you all. See you soon. See you soon. Bye.